Hey, Ravi! Ravi!
What?
Is that you?
Where you man? Give me the
I
stuff.
got it. I got it.
Oh.
Get out of here. Hi. Bill Gates' greatest fear as a child was that a kid in his garage down the road would be working on disrupting the internet as we know it. Today we're going to share with you an innovation, and in the future we'll challenge the traditional ways that consumers have traded and exchanged goods using an uncontrolled and unmonitored way. Some kid working on his garage on the next big thing. Maybe this should have been the government's biggest fear as well. Now, due to the sensitivity of today's presentation, I hope you can appreciate and understand that myself and my colleagues will be incognito. Today we're going to discuss the deep web and one of its most famous websites, the Silk Road. Determining using Schumpeter's forms of innovation. The opening of a new market and a new supply chain and a means of radical innovation which is growing exponentially and at an uncontrolled rate. To explain how this innovation works and why it satisfies two of Schumpeter's forms of innovation, we're going to take you on a photo montage of the process. First, Ravi will explain what the innovation is and why it's important. Then, Richard will showcase other parts of the economy that had to be in place to support this innovation. Thirdly, Etienne will share the benefits from this innovation, and then I'll conclude discussing how this innovation affects other parts of the economy as to whether they are threatened and/or disrupted. Now, we do need you to understand the sensitivity of this presentation. Nearly all the images used today showcase the example of innovation and are not our own. We decided that to remain upstanding members of society and to abide by the UQ Code of Conduct, that we would not do the following: buy illicit drugs, commit any form of terrorism, become a major shareholder in eBay, mortgage our homes to buy Bitcoin, crash any global economies, or join the G20. So we hope you can appreciate that for the purpose of today we have used the legitimate web for what can only be considered as a very dark assignment. I will now hand you over to Ed.
The internet is sprawling with information. Much of what we see on a daily basis, such as Yahoo, Domain.com, Facebook, and the latest memes, can be accessed through internet search engines such as Google. Much of the internet is now dynamically generated for greater interactivity and personalization. Static permanent websites of the past are now replaced by temporary pages. This ever-changing content represents the deep web, parts of the internet that cannot be found by search engines. According to DARPA, the deep web represents around 96% of the entire internet. Some parts of the deep web are so well entrenched that it is difficult to regulate with international laws. However, deep web also provides opportunity for people to anonymize their presence on the internet, even for illegal activities. Silk Road historically was a series of trade routes in ancient Asia that was socially, culturally, and economically important. Its namesake in the deep web is an online marketplace that brings together buyers and sellers for various goods and services, all brought together for the common desire for internet anonymity. This anonymity is further enhanced by the use of digital currency, bitcoins. Naturally, the bulk of the activity that happens in the deep web, and by extension the Silk Road, is illegal. Drugs, weapons, poached wildlife, forged documents, and even child pornography are rife. And law enforcement officials around the world are struggling to contain it. Despite the illegal activity, the website is efficiently run with a fully functional dispute resolution and escrow services. Buyers peddling their wares are rated on their ability to provide quality, competitive pricing, and fast delivery times. We find that Silk Road is an interesting case study as it allows one to understand the black economy. It single-handedly created a new black market for legal activities, and Schumpeter would term as a form of radical innovation. Silk Road provides a platform which is then used to provide products and services to its customers. For a nominal fee, buyers and sellers can exchange goods and services that are otherwise too risky to conduct in real life. The buyers are anonymous, solely referred by their online handles. Sellers are comforted by the fact that they no longer have to risk their lives, well-being and livelihood that would otherwise happen in person. Innovative use of Bitcoin allows a further incentive for participation due to added anonymity. So now I'll pass on to my colleague Richard to describe what parts of the economy make Silk Road click.
The Silk Road relies on other parts of the economy that were already in place. The most important of these complements support the two key problems faced by any illegal market: anonymity and trust. The first complement is, of course, the internet. Without the internet, buyers and sellers would be unable to connect to each other from anywhere around the globe without the need for a third-party broker. As Ravi already introduced, the Silk Road relies almost entirely in the part of the internet called the deep web. A Google image search of the deep web reveals some rather shocking results, so I'm going to stick with this image for the presentation. The deep web is most commonly accessed using the browser called Tor. Tor originally stood for the onion router, which refers to the layers of encryption that it uses to provide the user anonymity. Tor was originally developed by the US government and continues to receive financial support from them. Ironically, the NSA is working in parallel to try and crack the Tor code. From the Silk Road's point of view, the deep web and browsers such as Tor provide anonymous communication. Buyers and sellers can come together in a virtual marketplace without fear of being tracked by the law. The next important complement is Bitcoin. It is known as a digital currency, which means it is created and stored online. It is also a cryptocurrency because it employs public key cryptography to ensure the transactions are secure. When a transaction takes place, the cryptographic keys are shared between the buyer and seller. No intermediate party, such as a bank, is required to complete the transaction. And in this sense, Bitcoins act like cash. For the users of the Silk Road, Bitcoin provides the ideal payment mechanism. The transactions are secure, providing the necessary trust in the system. And because it acts like cash, it offers the users the required anonymity as well. Another vital complement is eBay. eBay is an online auction and shopping website. As one of the biggest and most famous of its kind, eBay taught us all how to buy and sell things on the internet. eBay brought us a number of innovations around buying and selling, making the user experience increasingly smooth and easy. One of their notable innovations was the seller review system, where buyers would leave comments and ratings for the sellers. Over time, sellers can build solid reputations, making further sales even easier. For the founder of Silk Road, the eBay model was shamelessly copied. This brought a number of benefits to Silk Road and to its users. Firstly, it serves as a point of reference. When the Silk Road is described as eBay for illegal products, we all instantly understand what it means. Secondly, it means the users already know how to use the Silk Road. There is a very short learning curve as a result. And thirdly, the seller review system provides trust. When a seller has a reputation backed with a history of positive comments, buyers lose their reluctance to spend online. The final complement in this presentation is the postal system. When purchasing a physical product, such as drugs, the postal system serves as the essential last step. Australia Post itself is highly trustworthy, and so that need of Silk Road is already met. From the anonymity point of view, however, it provides just barely enough. With some careful disguising of their packages, drugs and other illegal products can be sent through the normal postal system. But this is by far the weakest link in the whole Silk Road process, and I predict it's where we will see future innovation. Perhaps one day we will see Amazon's drones delivering illegal products instead of just books. I will now pass on to Ed, who will talk about who wins from Silk Road.
Thanks, Richard. So who benefits from Silk Road? Well, Snoop Dogg, perhaps, but this photo represents the buyers of illegal products on Silk Road. The buyers of fake IDs, fake Commonwealth Bank credit card statements, and drugs. Now, it's estimated approximately 70% of the products available on Silk Road are drug related. I think that's fairly accurate. So I've decided to focus my benefits, my area of research on the drug users. So they benefit because of choice. They've got a wide variety of choice of all various types of drugs, all in the same place. It's a lot cheaper, they buy straight from the source, cut out the middleman. Then there's quality. Richard mentioned the user review system, so there's an incentive for the seller to keep a good reputation and provide quality products. Then there's the escrow system that creates trust for the buyer. So the buyer's funds will only get released to the seller after the products have arrived. And then the most important thing is the increase of the market. So from a buyer's point of view, you would have had buyers out there who previously wouldn't risk go out in the street and doing a drug deal face to face. But now they can remain inside their home and do a deal through the Silk Road. So it's safe to say the whole way drug deals go down has changed. And if you're familiar with these two guys from Breaking Bad, you'll know that drug deals don't always go according to plan. Hence why Silk Road benefits manufacturers of drugs as well. It's a lot safer, so it avoids the face-to-face aspect of drug deals and the crime and violence that goes with it. Secondly, it should deliver a much better return on investment and product for the manufacturer, also by cutting out the middleman and selling straight to the end user. And then lastly, from the manufacturer's point of view and your local drug dealer, they've suddenly got a much bigger market to sell for, geographically, and new users who entered the market of the Silk Road. And then you've got other service providers who also benefit from the Silk Road. Services like hackers. So if you go on the Silk Road website, you can hire a hacker for a fee, and they can provide you with username and password accounts. You can buy a eBay account, a dormant eBay seller account with a good star rating. Hackers offering the services to track mobile phones and hack Facebook accounts. Very interesting. And then lastly, the other benefit that I thought of is the whole Bitcoin industry, because Silk Road only accepts Bitcoins, and as a result it underpins the value and need for the Bitcoin itself. And then you've got the secondary aspects of the Bitcoins. You've got the Bitcoin vaults, getting a fee for keeping the Bitcoin safe, and then you've got Bitcoin exchanges. So once you've got your Bitcoin, you've transacted in it, you need to exchange it for local currency, US dollars, Australian dollars, and so forth.
As there are winners, there are always losers. So let's keep in mind that there are organisations and individuals within those organisations who are ultimately going to lose out with the introduction and ongoing innovation of the Silk Road. Specifically, there are three parts of the economy that are disrupted and or threatened by this innovation. The first of which is organised crime. So, who's going to lose out as a consequence of organised crime? Let me tell you exactly who. In the short term, it's going to be the middleman. The Silk Road now connects the end user with the supplier. So all of the positions in between will quickly become null and void. So, whereas interactions like this may have been prevalent in the past, moving forward, as already described, it's a lot more likely to be someone simply going to their postbox, or maybe the postbox of their best friend, to get their package, open it, and then consume the products, whatever they may be. The sophistication of identification, procurement, and delivery of the product and or services ensures that the traditional methods of delivery will become less trusted and therefore less profitable. You've got to keep in mind that criminal organisations are in it for one thing and one thing only, and that is profitability. So if that is being compromised, then it won't be long before organised crime looks to make their way towards the Silk Road. There's one other group of people that are going to lose out as a consequence of the Silk Road, therefore affecting the overall economy, and that is the less intelligent of us amongst organised crime. As the Silk Road becomes more sophisticated and people become more adept at using it, those that aren't as good on the online world or in the new innovative world are going to lose out. Interesting thought. Perhaps moving forward at UQ recruitment evenings, we might see a different calibre of employer. Maybe, maybe not. The second group to lose out is terrorism. They can disrupt the economy in no uncertain terms by the following ways. Increased risk as the syndicates become more professionally organised in areas such as recruitment, arms procurement, movement of confidential information, including hacking, and forums for extremist views and actions. We've all seen the devastating effects that terrorism can have. And on 9/11, it has never been clearer. The Silk Road simply creates forums for hackers and terrorists to jump on and make sure that their presence is felt. The fallout on the global economy was significant post the 9/11 tragedy. The disruption was felt around the globe. The third part of the economy, following on from 9/11, to be disrupted, is this beautifully well-organised group of individuals known as our governments. Now, the governments subscribe to different groups, such as the G20. But the governments are running hard to try and keep up with the Silk Road and the activities that go on within it. Interestingly, it was the government that actually created the Silk Road for a confidential transfer of information. But now governments are finding that it's fallen into the hands of organised crime, that they're having difficulty keeping up with, keeping it under control. So as you can see, there are distinct areas of the economy that are disrupted and or threatened by the Silk Road. Not only are there small-time criminals impacted, but also governments and the very financial markets that those governments have been put in power to protect. In conclusion, we live in an ever-evolving and rapidly changing world, where in order to stay relevant and competitive, it's necessary for organisations and people to adapt and respond to new markets and new opportunities quickly. Today, we've shared with you how the opening of a new market in the deep web will deeply impact how the economy functions in the future. Today we have painted you a picture of what the negatives and the positives of this new innovation actually are. What has become increasingly apparent to us is that it is essential for both individuals and organisations to increase their understanding of the deep web and innovations such as the Silk Road, as this medium for exchange will continue to increase in popularity, and unless there is a new strategy in place to manage and control its operation, the deep web, as we currently know it, could be dictating how many new concepts and innovations are explored in the future that are not worth developing.